Tonight, activists throw their support behind a Gwinnett County mother accused of killing her son by leaving him in a hot car. Atlanta News First reporter Tracy Amick-Peer is live at the Gwinnett County Jail. And Tracy, attorneys want her released at least temporarily.
That's right. Just hours ago, Deja Coleman's attorney asked for prosecutors to temporarily drop the murder charge against her so she could attend her son Daniel's funeral this weekend. Now, when they did not comply, her attorney waived the preliminary hearing altogether. Now, right after that, her attorney, Tom Ford, joined Coleman's friends, supporters, car safety advocates, and a neuroscientist outside the jail, many of whom were asking that Coleman be released. Coleman is charged with second-degree murder and cruelty to children in the second degree after the death of her one-year-old son, Daniel, on July 29th. A neuroscientist and her attorney claiming she only left her son in the car due to a brain malfunction caused by stress and lack of sleep, and that she should not be treated as a criminal. Now, prosecutors countered that this preliminary hearing was not the right forum for this discussion.
But when we don't have scientists, or even a scientist, or even aware of the science, or ever heard of the science, or even want to consider the science, or even think about the science, you can't solve a scientific problem. What you do is you investigate rather than incarcerate. You legislate rather than conflate and hate.
Now, Coleman is still being held here at the Gwinnett County Jail without bond, but her attorney filed a motion for bond just yesterday afternoon, so no date has been set yet for that hearing. However, in open court today, prosecutors did say that if her attorney requests it, she will be able to attend her son's funeral along with law enforcement. Reporting live from Gwinnett County, I'm Tracy Amick-Peer, Atlanta News First.